You're listening to the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast, the place to come for movie reviews, along with some extra fun talk about movie-related topics like box office and awards. You can find us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and basically any place else you can find podcasts. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter for even more content. If you like what we do, feel free to share us with your friends, like and leave feedback wherever you listen to us, and let us know what you think. Now, let's get on with the show.
Ryan, you've never been married, have you?
No.
No, I have for a really long time. This movie that we're about to talk about is about a guy that's married, not for a long time, like 7 years, I think they say in the film. And 7-year itch is a thing, apparently. It's science, I guess. And he makes a mistake. He goes to Vegas with some buddies for a bachelor party.
Yeah.
And he makes a mistake with some goading from his bestest buddy. And then we get the film Fatale with Hillary Swank and Michael Ealy as our two leads. I think you saw, I know you saw this before I did.
Maybe a month ago.
Yeah, because it was released in the theaters the week before Christmas. And it came out last Friday, January 8th, 9th, whatever it is, on VOD. If you've ever seen a movie where a guy makes a mistake and then encounters his mistake, that's what the movie's about, except this one's a little different.
No, it's not. Yeah,
it's not Fatal Attraction.
No.
Which is what the easy comparison to make would be.
Although I would suggest that the character himself is thinking, "Oh, this is going to be Fatal Attraction."
Yeah, and he's not even. Luckily, it's not. But it's not luckily. Nothing in this film is luckily.
Wow.
Because she is a police person, detective, investigating a break-in at his house where he is with his wife. And complications ensue. Now, I don't know how you feel about the movie overall, but this is one of those movies that, since we're talking about it, I don't want to give away any of the twists, because there's like 3 different films in here.
Yeah.
Now, whether you think that's for good or ill, you being the royal you, will depend on your cinematic taste. But there's like 3 different films in this. So, because we have the cheating husband movie, we have the murder investigation movie, and then we have like a revenge movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah, so our main character, sorry, what's his name?
Derek.
Yeah. He has he works for what? Like a sports management or consult.
He and his partner, Mike Coulter, who played Luke Cage, they have a sports agency.
Yeah.
So they represent a bunch of athletes that they built from the ground up.
Yes, they did it on their own, and now they're starting to, where they've grown up and they've seen eye to eye for their entire lives. They're starting to kind of drift apart a little bit with age, and priorities are shifting. And so there's that aspect of the film as well. So you've got this business aspect thing going, and then, he might be the worst best friend in the history of best friends.
I don't know if he's the worst, but he is. He's definitely in the conversation.
Yeah. And anyway, so it does, for me, it does feel like too many movies trying in one movie, which I suppose is more interesting than probably one of those movies would have been on its own. But it does feel overstuffed, and like it's really cramming a lot of twists in for twist's sake, and although not like M. Night Shyamalan twists, just sort of minor twists and turns, and it's not outlandish.
There are complications. There's always a complication in this film.
Yeah, nothing goes smoothly at all.
And not at all.
Yeah.
And so so there's murder, or there's death.
Yeah.
There's family, there's loyalty, there's love. There's it. Yeah. You know what there is? There's just way too much in this movie. But the performances aren't terrible.
No. I think generally they're decent. I think that it's hard to imagine that anyone's life is nearly that interesting with nearly that much stuff going on. But what do I know? I've never been married.
Or owned a multi-million-dollar agency that wants to be sold. Someone wants to buy. Yeah,
AEG, I believe. Or was it? Anyway, one of the big groups wants to buy them. But I didn't not like the movie, but it's kind of a hard one to recommend in the sense that it's not a great revenge thriller. It's not a great anything. It's kind of a good some of the stuff.
Well,
it adds up to an okay experience.
Right. It's one of those that I always say it's exactly the sum of its pieces. Yeah. And all of the pieces, I don't know about you, but basically I knew what was going on. Everything they told you what was going to happen through the entire film, if you were paying any kind of attention at all.
Yeah.
And that's what. And now I don't like films that don't tell you things and then pull out this character that you didn't even know about 45 minutes ago. I don't like movies like that. But this one, it's just like they mention this, and that becomes the next plot point. And they mention this, and then that becomes the plot point. So it's just, it all makes sense, but it's all incredibly spelled out for you.
Well, and I think for me, what would happen is I would figure something out, and then it wouldn't be important till later. It was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. Kind of I was almost like you get lost in the narrative because the narrative is so complex that you forget that you figured certain things. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. That's what this version of the movie. Let's go back to this is the thriller version is this.
Yeah, that's where this subplot was going.
Yeah, and so sometimes it was just like, oh, I forgot that I was watching this movie, and it was that kind of movie, and then it became this kind of movie, and I guess it's ambitious. It's more ambitious than I think a lot of films would be.
Yeah.
It just doesn't stick the landing.
No, it's more ambitious than effective.
Yeah.
But it's not completely ineffective. Like I said, everything does make sense. There's no illogic to it, but for all its complexity, it is really simple.
Well, and I think I've seen bits and pieces of this in other movies that were worse movies, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
So I think they did an okay job, but it's still a little too convoluted for me. If you like the people who are in it, there's probably enough there. The ending's a bit, I don't know if how much I like the way things resolve themselves, but
well, and again, you kind of see that coming. And I thought about it later, and tell me if I'm remembering, if you can remember. The film opens with him narrating a thing, and then that's not how the film ends. If that makes sense. He's in his car.
I think yes.
I gotta play this smart. He's in his car. But then you get to the end and we're like, that has nothing to do with anything. It's like they had this like cool noir opening type narration, but then the movie just ran away from it. So by the time they got to the end, I think they forgot how they opened it. Because it doesn't ever loop back. Because with that opening, it should have looped back. And that's not what they did. So
No,
it was
it doesn't.
it was weird.
I can back you up. Maybe that was part of it. It just didn't feel cohesive, I guess.
Yeah.
It's one of those films that you go, yeah, I think I know why everyone involved did the film, and it wasn't just a paycheck. But I don't know that it was quite the film that they thought they were making, or you know, it's what I mean. It's not a guilty pleasure. It's not a midnight movie. It's kind of an afternoon. It's on, but
right.
You know,
it's just
I don't know.
It's just there. It's just kind of this movie that's there. So, but it's not a bad film. It's just not a particularly good.
I guess
film.
It's a hard film to talk about in the sense that we don't want to give a lot away, but it's also hard for me to be very passionate about any aspect of it. You know, it's perfectly competent, but you know,
But that's all.
Yeah, that's about.
But that's all. Yeah, I mean, it is exactly the sum of its parts, and if you like those parts, I guess you'll enjoy it more. But there's just nothing special about it. So, yeah, that's kind of sad. It could have glimpses maybe, but I don't know, just not that great.
I think sometimes less is more.
Sometimes less is more, and there's a lot of more in here.
Yeah.
More is more. So that is it. That is our second big release, even though it was technically from 2020, our second big release of 2021. Like I said, it hit VOD on last Friday, the 8th or 9th of January. So feel free to check it out. It might still be in a theater near you if you have a theater near you. So till next time, I'm Mark. That's Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See you guys.
Don't forget to like us, follow us on social media if that is still your thing, at VS Movie Podcast, or go right to the website, vsmoviepodcast.com. You can get everything we've ever done and not have to worry about anybody else. So take it easy. We'll be back soon with some more big films because they are coming and we're happy about that. Stay safe, and we will talk to you all later. Bye-bye.